You're listening to the start of your NFL week. You're listening to the Opening Whistle Radio Show. Right here on MessinRadio.com. Now, here are your hosts, Albert Albanese and Avi Shipman.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Opening Whistle Radio Show right here at MESNRadio.com. I'm your host, Albert Albanese.
I'm Avi Shipman.
And we have an exciting hour for you guys here again this week. We are back talking about everything in general at this point. NFL season's over. We'll cover some football stuff. But if you guys want to contribute just as much as we will, please give us a call in. Talk about whatever's on your mind. The number is 609-910-0687. And Avi, why don't you start us off here?
Albert, first of all, you sound a little out of breath. You okay?
I'm going to start by saying that for those of you who don't know, if you guys are wrestling fans, we started doing a new show about an hour before Avi gets on. Myself and David Lee are doing Raw commentary. So if you guys are wrestling fans, you can't watch Monday Night Raw, and you want to listen and know what's really going on, you can listen to me and Dave for the first hour, and you can hear our commentary.
I set you up there to plug in your show. I got you.
I really appreciate that.
I got you, man.
That's a market professional right there.
Yeah, I got you. Yeah, so what's going on? NFL, always got NFL stuff going on.
There's always something going on, Avi. And, I sent you this article a little while ago. So there was a guy who has talked about the fact that we have one of the biggest free agents right now. It's terrible, Le'Veon Bell. And he's talking about why the Steelers shouldn't give him. It's Bucky Brooks. He's an NFL.com analyst. And he's talking about why the Steelers shouldn't pay Le'Veon Bell.
There's no – I can't even read the article, honestly. There's no reason not to pay the guy. That guy is your team.
So here's his argument, and his argument actually isn't too bad. He's saying that most running backs in the NFL right now are not – can you name a guy who's really had a lot of longevity in the NFL, who's made a big mark?
But you know what? There's not many running backs like him, like Le'Veon Bell, in history of NFL. He's more than a running back.
I'm not disagreeing with you at all, Avi. My problem is that after a couple of years, these running backs, especially guys who are the lead back, the number one back, the guy who is on the field for almost every offensive snap, like Le'Veon Bell, tend to get worn out. Injuries happen. They tend to wear down a little bit, and maybe it's not smart to put all their eggs in one basket, because what if in a year or two Le'Veon Bell just isn't the same Le'Veon Bell as he is anymore?
But he's a different breed. I don't see that. He's a different breed. He's one in a million type of player.
I'm not denying you.
And without him, honestly, I think he is their most valuable player, in my opinion. Even over Antonio Brown.
I don't know about that. I'd say it's probably Antonio Brown. But my whole thing is this: what if Le'Veon Bell gets hurt next year? And what if he comes back and he's just not the same guy?
You could say that about anybody, really.
Oh, absolutely. And the thing is that, but really, do me a favor and give me somebody with longevity, with the exception of maybe Adrian Peterson in the current era, who's had enough longevity from the running back position that you can tell me that would actually deserve this big of a contract.
LT.
Okay, I'll give you that.
LT, I think Zeke's going to be at that level.
Maybe, but we don't know.
We don't know that.
But
right.
in the same thing, Le'Veon Bell is dominant now. But remember, think about 5 years ago. Who are the number one running backs, and they're just not there anymore? The first name that comes to my mind is Arian Foster. Was one of the best running backs his first 3 years in the NFL, and then all of a sudden, after his rookie contract expired, injuries and all this stuff started creeping up on him, and all of a sudden, he's not a big, the big name anymore. Doug Martin isn't a number one starter anymore. Adrian Peterson may be the guy that comes to my mind too, aside from LT, as having longevity. Do you really want to give a contract to somebody who may not be around in another couple of years and eat away at your salary cap?
It's tough. I just think that he's more talented than any of those guys you just mentioned. I really believe. Listen, you take him off the Steelers right now, and what do you have? What are you going to do with? What are you going to do? What are the Steelers going to be without him?
All right. So they're not. I don't know if they're going to be as good as they are.
First of all, Big Ben's on his way out. He's getting older.
And we don't even know if Roethlisberger has officially announced he's going to play this season. Has he?
He hasn't officially announced. I think he will. I think he will.
He hinted at retirement last year.
Right. Yeah, but it's hard, man. You don't find guys like this. It's like taking honestly, it's like taking Zeke. I think it's like taking Zeke off the Cowboys. It's like taking it's honestly your best player.
And we saw how that did. What happened there.
Exactly. It's your best player. Le'Veon Bell. Okay, Antonio Brown, fine. I personally, I prefer Le'Veon.
That's fine.
Brown
That's
has
fine.
Big Ben. He has a great quarterback. Do you think Antonio Brown's this great without a good quarterback?
I think so.
Oh, he can get separation. He's great.
He is. He really is. He's
But
one
you
of the best
you
players.
prefer Antonio Brown over Le'Veon if you had to choose.
But I mean, it's 1A and 1B. I mean,
Right.
let's be honest. It is. It's really 1A and 1B. If I had guns ahead, I'd choose AB over.
Well, you know what? If the Steelers don't want to pay him, then somebody else will pay him.
Oh, absolutely.
You know?
And I'm not saying that.
And I'm sure he's not happy with the Steelers anyway now.
What if it's on a long-term deal? What if the Steelers are smart and they give him maybe a 2-year deal? They pay him for a good amount of money. Maybe give him make him the highest paid running back in the NFL. Give him $12 million a year.
But does he want to be with the Steelers anymore after what they pulled with him? He hasn't been that happy with the team, I'm sure. He's holding out, and they're franchising him. I don't know if he wants to be there anymore. At this point.
He did say that $30 million might not be enough to make him stay. $50 million is the number. I mean, that's
15
a
year.
He wants about 15 a year.
Right.
That's too much.
It's a lot.
For a running back.
That's a lot for a running back. But listen, he's earned it. He's one of the best players in the NFL.
If there's any running back in the NFL
You
right
have-
now who deserves it more than him, then
You have Alex Smith making $25 million a year. Okay, I know it's a quarterback.
Here was his rationale. And his rationale, actually, when I heard it made a little bit of sense. He said, I am just as good as any running back and wide receiver, too, in this league. I deserve the amount of money for both. Can't deny it.
You can't deny it. You can't. He's been their best. I mean, he's not their best receiver, but he's their second. He's the number 2 receiver.
I mean, yeah,
He's so reliable,
behind
too.
Antonio Brown, that's who's getting most of the passes.
Exactly.
And they have so many other weapons. They have, Martavis Bryant. They have Juju. They have all these guys. It just...
You got to pay the guy. The guy. Look at the other guy. Look at all the other players making so much money. I know they're quarterbacks; they're making a lot. But Alex Smith making $25 million a year, does that make sense?
Right. And here's the other argument. Here was the other argument for not signing Le'Veon Bell. The other argument was that the two teams that were in the Super Bowl did not have a clear-cut number 1 running back. They had really a 3-headed backfield. It was Deion Lewis, James White, and Rex Burkhead.
Right.
Versus Jay Ajayi, who got acquired in the offseason, LeGarrette Blount, and Corey Clement.
You're right. I'll give you that.
And those were the top 2 producing running backs, running teams in the NFL.
I'll give you that. Who was the last great running back to win a Super Bowl? I'm gonna look up the past Super Bowl ones. I guess you're right. You don't find the great running backs. All the great running backs. Adrian Peterson never won a Super Bowl. LT never won a Super Bowl. All those guys you mentioned before, Aaron Foster, Doug Martin. It's true. The Patriots, they have never had a top-line running back except Corey Dillon, I guess, that 1 year. That was back in the day. Fine.
Yeah, I mean, and you maybe can say Blunt, but he wasn't
and Jerome Bettis,
cut.
I guess, with the Steelers. But he was older.
But he was older. Again, he wasn't their clear-cut number 1.
The Packers didn't have a James Starks. I guess he was the guy, but you're right.
Lacey.
There's not been a name running back to win the Super Bowl in a while. I guess I'll give you that. But that shouldn't be a reason. I don't believe that.
I'm not saying it isn't a reason. And look, at the end of the day, as much as I'm trying to argue against, him getting the money, the Steelers have to give him the money. They have to.
They have to.
They have to.
But
there's no doubt about it. They have to. And think about, we talk about this. Just think about this. We talk all the time about quarterbacks who have won the Super Bowl. Think about it this way. With the exception of Trent Dilfer and Joe Flacco, coming out of the AFC, there have been 3 quarterbacks to win the Super Bowl out of the AFC. It's been 3 guys.
Yeah.
That's it.
Brady, Manning,
and Roethlisberger. That's it.
How many is that? 5, 2, 2. Yeah, 9. 9 Super Bowls after those guys.
9 out of 11.
Yeah, 9 out of 11.
9 out of 11.
Yeah, you're right. The guy needs to get paid. It's time.
He has to get paid. He has
time.
to. Look, I'm not going to deny it. He has to get paid.
Can they franchise him again, or has he been isn't there 2 times he can be franchised?
I think he can be franchised again.
Isn't it only 2 times?
I think so.
But he hasn't. I thought he was franchised twice. No,
was he twice?
Maybe not. Maybe I'm wrong.
Because he's not coming off he's coming off of his second contract.
You know what? That guy is going to hold out until he gets paid. He will. He's done it before.
Absolutely. Why wouldn't you?
Absolutely. He absolutely should. Look at he should get paid. He has to get paid. He's one of the best players in the NFL. Not quarterbacks. He's one of the best players in the NFL. And if you're one of the best players in the NFL, besides Alex Smith, Who's the highest paid player in the NFL right now? Who's making the most money? Garoppolo?
Yes.
Garoppolo and Alex Smith, are they the highest paid players? And Kirk Cousins? They're going to be the highest paid players in the NFL.
Yeah, and I mean, Derek Carr's up there.
Yeah. And where do they rank? I mean, in terms of NFL players alone, like Kirk Cousins, where does he rank? He's on the top 20.
No,
He's
I
on the
agree.
top 30. Le'Veon Bell is legitimately the top 5 NFL player. And he should be paid for that.
No, and I'm not denying it. You're actually 100% right. My big thing is this. You just think about it this way, and this is the way I thought about it, and I kind of saw where he was coming from with the article. You know, we're big fantasy football guys. For those of you who don't know, I beat Avi in the fantasy football finals this year.
I knew you were going to say that. I knew you were going to say that.
Just throwing it out there, guys.
Damn,
Sorry.
tight end.
Yeah, it really kind of
Screwed me.
Yeah, it really did hurt you. Anyway, enough rubbing it in. So you know, think about this. You go and you've drafted for how, and you've been playing fantasy for a while, right?
Yeah, not as much as you, I don't think, but I played. Yeah, I played enough.
Can you remember going back maybe 5 years who your draft pick was at running back? Who were the top 5 running backs 5 years ago?
5 years ago it was Aaron Foster, right?
Probably Arian Foster,
Adrian Peterson.
Doug Martin was probably in that conversation.
Who else?
Maybe Bell actually was in that conversation too.
5 years ago. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
DeMarco Murray? I don't know.
Maybe DeMarco Murray.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Chris Johnson, or was that?
Yeah, Chris Johnson might have been. Maybe
Might
even
have been
Steven
after.
Jackson.
Jamal Charles.
Yeah.
Okay. Right.
Where are they now?
Yeah.
Where are they now?
You're right.
And that's 5 years ago.
Right.
In 5 years, will Le'Veon Bell still be relevant in this league?
It's tough to know. Probably not.
He's probably not going to be as relevant as he is now.
Probably not.
I mean, you got to think that maybe by next year they're going to bring in another guy.
But he's
gonna
so
start
good.
losing snaps.
He's so good. He's so reliable. You know he's gonna always put up big numbers.
And I'm not denying that, but you have to think that at one point he's got to start, taking a little bit of less snaps, because if they're going to invest that much money in him, they're going to need him in the stretch.
Right. He's played a lot of snaps, taking a lot of hits.
He really has.
Absolutely. But it's tough, man. NFL.
You're right. At the end of the day, man's got to be paid.
The man's got to be paid, just like Zeke will be paid when the time's said and done.
100% right. Guys, this is the Opening Whistle radio show. We can, call in. What do you guys think about Le'Veon Bell, or about anything in the NFL, or anything anywhere else?
Oh, what about the Albert? Did you watch the All-Star game last night? The NBA All-Star game?
I did not. It was not home.
Did you hear Fergie do the national anthem?
I heard that.
Oh, we have a whole show talking about that. Oh man. Not only was it bad, but you saw all the people they went to, all the celebrities they were flashing while she was singing, and Draymond Green, they're all laughing. They're all smiling, just laughing at her. I think you heard in the crowd at one point just laughing. It was so bad.
There was something that was online that they put together, and it was her doing it, and I believe it was it may have been Steph Curry. Maybe a couple years ago he had the ear injury. We had the blood dripping from his ear.
Okay.
Yeah, and they just showed that, and I think
perfect.
that was
this was all time fail.
Very
This was
apropos.
all time fail national
That
anthem.
was
Might be the
awful.
worst. It was bad.
Maybe. But real quick, guys, if you want to get involved in talking about this, it's 609-910-0687. Give us a call.
I'm liking. I read something about Jason Garrett. They're planning who future Cowboy quarterback head coaches could be. Because this is honestly, I really believe this is his last year. Jason Garrett. If they don't perform, this is his last year.
If they don't perform, let's face it.
If he's not done after this year, they don't make the playoffs or something. This is it. So I'm looking forward to him being gone. Listen, Jason Garrett, I don't know what to think of him. I was never high on him. I never liked him really as a head coach.
You never did.
I never liked him as a head coach. But so I wanted to throw that in there.
Well, sticking a little bit on the football topic. So we have a really interesting situation developing in Minnesota. So the Minnesota has 3 top flight number 1 quarterbacks. Quarterback ones for most teams in this league.
Top flight.
Quarterback one, at least quarterback ones in this league.
Yeah.
On most other teams, they could be QB1s.
I can't give Bradford QB1. I can't. Or Bridgewater even. Honestly, who's the best out of the group? I'm not high on Bradford. I never liked Bradford. He's awful. He's awful.
I don't think he's bad. I just think he's.
I think honestly at this point, Case Keenum's the best out of all.
I don't understand how you dislike Bradford so much, and he's shown just as much promise as somebody as your favorite quarterback, Tony Romo. He has this. He has the same track record. He has the same track record.
Don't put them in the same boat.
He's always good until he gets hurt.
Don't put him in the same boat. No, I don't believe it. No, Brett. No, don't. First of all, Tony Romo's hurt a lot. It was hurt a lot at the end, but Bradford is not nearly as tough as Romo. He's not.
I'm not going to deny that.
He is not.
I'm not going to deny that.
I can't. Bradford, come on. Bradford is not good.
I think Sam Bradford's
he's not
a good
the number
quarterback.
one option.
He out of all the games that the Vikings played, Bradford probably played the best quarterback game in week 1.
Yeah, but no, I can't. No, You're never gonna convince me about Bradford. I think Keenum's the best out of the group, but I still think they should make a play for Kirk Cousins.
Well, here's the news that's been coming out over the past couple
I
of
hear
weeks.
your Jets are wanting to throw the world at Cousins.
There are 4 teams that seem to be really interested right now in Kirk Cousins. The 4 teams are the Denver Broncos, the Arizona Cardinals, the Minnesota Vikings, and the New York Jets. Now, out of everyone, they're saying that the best package, the most money that could be thrown the way of Kirk Cousins is by the New York Jets. The Jets have not had a franchise quarterback in years. They feel like Kirk Cousins could be that guy. Personally, I don't know if I would pay this guy the world.
No, I don't think they should pay the guy the world, but honestly, I feel like he'd be a good fit with the Jets.
I don't know. I don't know. Here's my thing. The Jets were surprisingly good last year. If they had better quarterback play, could they have been better? Maybe, maybe not. Josh McCown put up career numbers last year.
Right.
And we don't know what's going to go on with Robbie Anderson. I mean, they'd have to get more free agents and some more talent to build around Kirk Cousins. But I don't know if Kirk Cousins is the answer for the Jets.
Let me ask you. Is Kirk Cousins a franchise quarterback? Has he earned it to be a franchise quarterback?
No.
For a team? Yeah, you don't think he's earned it?
No.
You don't think so?
What has he done? When did the Redskins finish first in their division?
It's hard, man. Quarterback position is hard, but he's good.
When did they finish first?
They haven't.
How many playoff wins does he have?
None.
What has he done to be a franchise quarterback?
But you see the talent. You see he's been in a lot of big games. He's played a lot. He's been in a lot of comebacks.
Has he played well? Is he a good quarterback? In terms of, you're going to make tiers, elite, pretty, right below elite, and
he's in between 2 and 3. I think
that's what I'm saying. Do you want to throw the world at someone in between 2 and 3?
He's clearly not in the first tier. But I think he's on the Alex Smith boat. You don't think they're pretty similar?
Absolutely, they're similar. And I don't think Alex Smith got a huge contract for no reason. Well, I don't know why they paid that much money when they had somebody already on the team that could have done just about the same.
That didn't make sense. I don't understand that at all. But let me ask you, Albert, who do you want to be? What do you think the Jets are going to do? Do you want them to draft a quarterback this year?
Yes.
And why? And they've been so successful in drafting
I want them to draft a top quarterback. I want him to sit for a full year like he's supposed to.
They're drafting 6, right? They're at 6?
Yes.
And you want them to draft a quarterback 6. Stay at 6, draft a quarterback.
Absolutely.
They're not going to get the top 2. They're going to get who do you want to draft?
Josh
Allen? I hear Josh Allen's maybe.
Yeah, and I'm fine with that.
But they've not shown that they are successful at drafting quarterbacks, the Jets.
But the Jets also haven't drafted.
At least Kirk Cousins is established. He's
the last quarterback the Jets have taken with a high pick was Mark Sanchez. Every other quarterback they've taken has been out of the second round or later.
The Jets have never had since who? I don't know. Joe Namath was he even a top tier quarterback? Who did they have as a top tier quarterback at any point?
I mean, you name Namath. I mean, after that, it's a whole bunch of nobody.
But not even Namath. Namath wasn't even a great quarterback.
He was
if you
good
look at
for
his
2
numbers.
years. He was good for 2 years.
Okay, right.
And it's the same thing. Testaverde had some success. Pennington had some success. Sanchez had some success.
But you know what? I think they should. They should take a look at Kirk Cousins. Not throw the world at him, but they should take a look at him. He's got the first of all. He's got the personality for New York. I think
he deserves a look. Don't get me wrong. He deserves a look. I just don't think that if you're gonna throw that much money at the Jets have been so good over the past a year or two, and I've praised the Jets for this, for cutting out the big contracts. They got rid of the Brandon Marshalls, the Nick Mangolds. The guys who had the huge contracts. Matt Forte's not going to be a Jet next year. They're going to cut out all these guys. They're going to they're going back to basics. They're going to basically be in a competitive rebuild mode this year. Why would you get a franchise quarterback right now?
You know what? I think if they got Kirk Cousins, I really think they could compete this year.
I don't doubt it. And with their schedule isn't awful. Yes.
I think they can compete. I think absolutely they can compete. I just think they have to lock somebody up. If you want to risk again, you have to trust that McCagnon knows what he's doing. I think he's a good GM.
Yeah, I guess I do.
We'll see. This is a big year for them.
This is a make or break
and bowls
year.
And for bowls.
Oh, absolutely. Todd Bowles is in the exact same position as Rex Ryan was. In the I think that may have been his 4th year.
Yeah,
or his 5th year maybe. Where he had 2 really promising years. They had 2 upsetting years, and then it was like, okay, what do we do? Do we keep Rex Ryan around? We'll keep him around for one more year, and they dumped everybody on him.
Listen.
And,
you need the most valuable position in the sport is quarterback.
Absolutely,
right?
I'm not denying it.
So they have to get a guy who is a good quarterback who could be a franchise quarterback. I think he'd be a good fit on the Jets. I really believe it. I think you got to lock him up, just get him. and take it from there. I know if you're going to pay him a lot, you're right. You're not going to have a lot of money to spend.
We're talking a lot about the Jets. What about the other teams that are out of there? Why wouldn't the Arizona Cardinals throw a lot of money at Kirk Cousins? Why wouldn't a team like the Broncos,
But they're in total rebuild mode. The Cardinals.
Are they though?
They are.
I mean, they have running
David
back.
Johnson, right? But
Larry Fitzgerald's still going around. They still have 3 really good wide receivers. 4 if you want to count Jerron Brown. They have John Brown. They have J.J. Nelson. They have Larry Fitzgerald. They have Jerron Brown. They have a running back. They're really not in total rebuild mode.
It's tough to say where he's going to. The Broncos make sense also.
The Broncos,
they all make sense.
And can you imagine? Can you imagine Kirk Cousins with Demaryius Thomas and with Emmanuel Sanders?
Right. Yeah. Well, listen. If Josh McCown can do what he did last year with the Jets.
But who knows? Do we know if Jermaine Kearse is coming back? How many years was he signed? He might have been a 1-year deal. We don't know if Kearse is coming back. Robbie Anderson cursed out a cop. We don't know if he's going to come back. There's a lot of things that are going on in Jets land right now that are uncertain. And if I'm Kirk Cousins, do I want to take, I don't know, $20 million a year less to go, or $20 million off the top of my contract to go play for a team that I know is absolutely going to be competitive, like the Cardinals, like the Broncos, and like the Vikings? I would take any of those teams over the Jets, and I'm a Jets fan.
Well, the Vikings make the most sense. I mean, the Vikings are the most ready team. I just don't think. I don't know if they're high on Case Keenum for their 1 year.
There's a big debate going on of whether they're going to franchise tag Case Keenum or not. We actually have a phone call though, so we'll get back into that in 2 seconds. Okay. Hey caller, what's up? What's your name and where are you calling from?
It's Phil from Springfield, guys. How you doing tonight?
Good. How are you?
Okay, good. I think the Jets should offer whatever Kirk Cousins wants. He should give it to him because they don't have a good history with the last quarterbacks that they drafted.
And I'm not denying that. But do you think that that's wasting a lot of money on one position where it seems like they're going to need help in a lot of others?
Well, they have those 2 backups that they drafted. I don't know if those guys are worth anything, but at least they have that as backup. But I don't think any of these quarterbacks, first of all, are going to be available. The ones coming out of the draft.
Well, I mean, the Jets might have enough. In a top 6 pick, they probably would be able to get one of the top 3 guys that are coming out. Saquon Barkley's going to go early. It looks like he might be going number 1 now.
Right, he's the best player in the draft.
He absolutely is. So you definitely, and the Browns have 2 picks, so you know that they're not going to take 2 quarterbacks.
Right. But they're both going to go. They said that number 2, Giants or the Bills might jump up. But I agree. I agree with you. That's what I'm telling you. They have to lock him up. They need a quarterback already. That he's done enough in the league. He hasn't won, fine, but you need that position. You can't.
Okay, so let me pose a question to both of you guys then, and Phil, we'll give you the answer, the opportunity to answer first here. Let's say the Jets throw all this money at Kirk Cousins. Now, what happens if Jermaine Kearse doesn't come back and he gets signed by another team? Robbie Anderson doesn't come back because he, after his off the field issues, they might penalize him by not re-signing him. And their number 1 receiver is Quincy Enunwa, who didn't play all of last year. Is that really? Do you want to throw all that money at Kirk Cousins? Oh, and by the way, Matt Forte's not coming back, so you have the 2 running backs are Bilal Powell and I can't even think of his name right now. The other guy that they had running last year. Is Kirk Cousins your priority?
I think he is because they could draft. There are probably some free agents out there for running back, for the other positions that they need. I think they can do it. That's just the way I feel. They haven't been great for years, so they got to start somewhere. Whatever they do is not working, obviously. So they got to start with something, And I think starting with him would be a good start for them. That's all. That's just the way I feel.
No, that is a good point. I can't really deny that too much.
Yeah. All right. Well, hopefully they'll make the right decision, whatever it is, because it's been 50 years since they won a Super Bowl.
Yeah, I hope so too. I've seen them in the playoffs only a handful of times. I'd like to see them, get all the way to the Super Bowl.
All right.
Well, thanks for the call. We appreciate it.
Okay, have a good one.
All right.
Thank you.
Do you agree, Avi?
I agree. That's what I've been saying. They have not had the track record. Do you want to? Okay, so do you want to sit with? You want to draft a quarterback. You want to play Josh McCown this year again, right? Or who? Bryce Petty? Are you hiring Bryce Petty? Bryce Petty's nothing. He's garbage.
I'd rather.
Christian Hackenberg is
no.
Nothing.
I'd rather Josh McCown than
anybody
else.
But okay, Jets sign Kirk Cousins tomorrow. Okay. What is your first reaction? You happy? Or no?
Yeah, of course I'm going to be happy because I know that they actually.
I would be very happy.
I know they have somebody who's competent, but and then it depends. It depends on what the deal is. It depends on how much room they have, and depends on what they're signing him for. This is my big thing. If Kirk Cousins comes to the Jets, that's going to be great. But if he's got no talent surrounding him, what the hell is that going to do for him?
It's true. But you know what? Listen, like you said, you got to start somewhere. You got to start with the quarterback. That's the number one most important position. You're just wasting another year with the Jets. Listen, let's be honest. They're not winning a Super Bowl in the next, I don't know. But they got to start. They need that quarterback. You said there's only three different quarterbacks in the AFC to win the Super Bowl, all right, in the last how many years? And now Roethlisberger, Brady, Manning's gone. So these guys are going to be gone. It's going to be for the taking. The Jets have to start looking at, we're gonna dominate this division for the future. We have to be that next team. When Brady's gone, Patriots don't have a quarterback after Brady right now. They have to lock up that quarterback. The Bills don't have a quarterback. The Dolphins don't have a franchise really quarterback.
No, I don't trust
Kirk Cousins. At least start with that. He might be the best quarterback in that division in 3 years. Who knows?
I'm not denying that, but I mean, I just want to make sure that they don't screw themselves by paying Kirk Cousins a lot of money and not having enough talent around him for Kirk Cousins to be beneficial for being in a Jets uniform. We've seen this happen. We've seen good quarterbacks go to bad teams, and we've seen the way it's worked for them.
Right. No, I hear you.
But then again, let's face it, on the flip side, the argument can be made. Look at what Garoppolo did with the 49ers. The exact same team that couldn't win a game without Garoppolo, at the helm, and all of a sudden he comes in and he wins with the same team.
Right. No, I agree. Listen, exactly. Look at Garoppolo. You need that quarterback. I think Kirk Cousins would be a great fit with the Jets. I really do.
Okay, I'm not going to deny it.
Maybe the Cowboys, maybe they're going to cut Dez Bryant, and then the Jets will snatch him up. Even though Dez Bryant's on the low end of his career.
I don't think the Cowboys have another guy to replace Dez Bryant right now.
No, I know.
If they cut him, that would be the dumbest thing they could have done.
I know. But he has not looked good in the last few years, let's just say.
Oh, he's definitely declined, but he's still better than half the other guys out there.
Oh, absolutely. But, it's stupid. It's typical Jets. Robbie Anderson, all this thing happened. He looked so promising.
I know.
One of the fastest guys.
We'll see what happens.
We'll see what happens with him. But, yeah, I am all for the Jets going after Kirk Cousins, and I would be happy if I was a Jets fan if they got him.
I'm not going to say I'm mad. I just want to make sure they have enough money for some more moves.
I hear you. I totally hear you. But we know that winning Super Bowls, you need that quarterback.
I'm not going to deny that.
You need that quarterback. You're not going to get better than Kirk Cousins in the draft right now. You're not going to get better than him.
I mean, and you're right, because for every year that we can sit here and say Nick Foles, there's a Nick Foles who wins the Super Bowl. How many guys before that were not a franchise?
Well, we agree that Nick Foles playing the whole season with the Eagles, they're not winning the Super Bowl. He was just put in a good spot. I don't believe that they wouldn't win a Super Bowl. They wouldn't win 13 games.
I don't think so.
He was just put in a perfect spot, And
think about this. We're talking about a lot of other teams who are quarterback needy. And, in a little bit, at the very least, either Sam Bradford, Teddy Bridgewater, or Case Keenum will be available. One of those guys is going to get signed somewhere.
I think Case Keenum, do you think his best fit is with the Vikings?
I think so.
It has to be, right?
It has to be.
If he goes anywhere else, it's just not.
I think if I'm Case Keenum, I'm taking whatever contract that they throw at me.
Absolutely.
I'd be like, "What you guys want me to stay? Fine, I'm here."
But it's still very Ryan Fitzpatrick-y to me that the season he had. Now, obviously they made a run, but it just seems like he's not going to be that quarterback next year.
And with all of that.
There's a reason that he was a career backup. Let's just say.
I'm not denying that, but with all of that, because of Case Keenum, we got this.
Run out of bounds or run it out the back of the end zone. I mean, wow, just a big mistake. You just got to be able.
This is not Case Keenum. Let's just say.
Advantage of it when they do that kind of stuff.
Case Keenum
was all digs, baby.
4:23 seconds.
Case Keenum threw it.
Vikings at their own 39. It's third down. 3 receivers right, Thielen left. Marshawn Lattimore 12 yards from Adam. Case on a deep drop, steps up in the pocket. He'll fire to the right side, caught by Diggs. Stay up! Oh, he got loose! Oh, my God! 30! No way! Touchdown! Are you kidding me? It's a Minneapolis miracle! Stephon Diggs and the Minnesota Vikings have walked up on the New Orleans Saints.
I will try to play that as much as I possibly can.
You know what? Listen, yes, that was one of the greatest moments in history, but listen, they're lucky that they won that game. We know that.
Oh, yeah.
And it wasn't Case Keenum that they won. It wasn't because of Case Keenum. It was Diggs.
Keenum kept him in.
It was Diggs, and it was just they had a lucky break in the defense
the entire time too.
Everything happened perfectly for that play.
It did.
But you know what? Case Keenum did not play great in that game, in that playoff game. That
he did enough to win.
But he did enough to win the game. But how did he play in the NFC Championship game?
Well,
not
yeah.
well.
Yeah, but that's also a lot about. It says a lot more about the Eagles' defense than it
Right.
does a lot about Case Keenum.
I'm not so high. I'm more on Case Keenum being that average. He's going to take a step back this year. They should not throw a lot of money at Case Keenum. That's what I'm
I don't
saying.
think they will. I don't think they will. And I think
Give
they
them
know
the
that
that's
they're
fine.
If the Minnesota Vikings are in the most lucrative position in the NFL right now when it comes to the quarterback position, they had Teddy Bridgewater, who did not play bad in any years that he started for that team, and it was a big deal when Bridgewater went down.
And he should have won a playoff game. Let's be honest. The one where Walsh missed that field goal.
Absolutely. That was not Teddy Bridgewater's fault.
No.
So Bridgewater is still a viable. He's a starter on what 5, 6, 7 other teams right now. Maybe even more.
Yeah, but that injury is so brutal. We don't know what he's going to be.
Well, I mean,
it's hard to pay him.
We saw him play a little bit, last year in that last game. He looked good.
Yeah, he looked good. That's true.
So Teddy, but I mean,
small sample size.
But maybe he's not going to get paid a lot of money. But he will go somewhere, and he will absolutely compete. I mean, let's put it this way: Tyrod Taylor or Teddy Bridgewater?
Bridgewater, but not by like miles. Bridgewater.
Okay.
Yes.
That's what I'm saying. So that there's one team: Blake Bortles or Teddy Bridgewater.
Bridgewater.
Okay, that's 2 teams. I can probably rattle off maybe 2 or 3 other teams.
Would you think Nick Foles or Bridgewater?
Teddy Bridgewater.
Okay.
And that's what I'm saying.
Okay. He's like slightly better. Yeah, he's better than those guys, but not by much.
But he is better.
Let's not make him out to be like he's that great quarterback.
No, absolutely not. He's gonna I feel like in maybe a year or two we'll be talking about him in that range of Alex Smith and Kirk Cousins. He's going to be like, he's not going to be the second tier. He's not going to be right under the top, but he's also not going to be. He's not going to be in the last tier in garbage.
Right. They're quarterback. Listen, they're going to get also what's his name back? The rookie that got hurt last year. The running back.
Yeah.
Florida State. I forgot his name.
Yeah. Why can't I think
he's going to come back next year. Dalvin Cook. He's going to come back healthy next year. I know that was a big loss for them too, but Latavius Murray was great. That's a great 1-2 punch.
Absolutely, they're gonna have both of those guys next year.
They really are though a quarterback away. But is Case Keenum that guy that not Case Keenum or Kirk Cousins? Is he the guy that's gonna take them to the next level?
I mean,
do you think he can?
He could absolutely.
I think honestly the best fit for Kirk Cousins is the Broncos. I agree. I think so.
If I'm Kirk Cousins, I'd want to go to either Minnesota or Denver. That's where I'd want to go. If I'm him, I know I'm going to a viable playoff team.
Right.
I'm going to a playoff-ready team.
Right. Yeah.
And the Broncos got to tighten up their defense. If they're going to throw a lot of money at Kirk Cousins, they better tighten up their defense.
Right.
Because they did not play well last year.
Their defense, no, they did not play well last year. But Aqib Talib, we don't know what's going to happen with him. He might be a free agent.
Aqib Talib might be playing in the XFL in 2 years.
But I can see that. But Von Miller's there. Yeah, Von Miller.
No, they do. They can go out and they can build through the draft to bolster their defense.
Yeah, it makes too much sense that the Broncos are gonna get Cousins.
Maybe they will, but at the same point, maybe they won't. Maybe
we don't know how he feels about him though.
Exactly. The Jets might actually just give Kirk Cousins way too much money for him to say no.
Right.
He's
gonna take. Listen, he's been waiting for that contract. He's gonna take. Listen, he wants to win, but he's gonna take whoever offers him the most money.
Probably.
He's gonna get paid $30 million a year.
If I'm Kirk Cousins right now. And look, I'm not saying this. I'm saying I don't want this to happen. But if the Jets give him the most money and he's only a couple $1 million off of another team, all those other teams are viable, contenders in their divisions. You go to the AFC East, you have to deal with the Patriots twice a year. You have to, and that's enough for me to not want to play in the AFC East. Quarterbacks don't want to come to the AFC East because they know how hard it is.
Right? Yeah, because you're not going to win a division.
You're not going to win a division, and you're probably not going to win 2 games a year.
Right.
At the very least, you're at least starting off 2 games in a hole.
Yeah, I agree. And what about I was thinking about the AFC East, the Dolphins. What are they doing next year? Cutler's not coming back.
I mean, at this point, is
Tannehill,
Teddy Bridgewater, or Ryan Tannehill?
Teddy Bridgewater.
That's my point.
Yeah.
Teddy Bridgewater can do really well in free agency.
Right.
I really think he can. And you know what? Sam Bradford is going to make a lot of money as a backup quarterback somewhere.
Yeah.
Look at Nick Foles. Look at Nick Foles. Nick Foles filled in for an injured guy.
Yeah, but that guy won the Super Bowl.
And he did.
Bradford didn't do anything.
No, I'm just saying, teams are now going to understand just how big, especially big teams, playoff-bound teams like, the Green Bay Packers when, Aaron Rodgers goes down. Brett Hundley did not perform too well. Wouldn't you rather have had Sam Bradford in there than Brett Hundley? And that's my thing. Sam Bradford
Yes.
will make a
Fine.
lot of money as a number 2 somewhere.
Bradford got hurt when this season? What
After
week?
game 1.
After game 1.
He played really well
Let me
week
ask
1
you.
and he got hurt.
If he played the whole season, do you think what are they going to be?
Judging by the way he played in week 1, they could have been the same.
It was
they could have
one
been the
game.
same record.
It was one game.
It's hard to get a sample size with that team though. He came in, he wasn't 100% healthy the next time he started.
I'm just not on Bradford at all. I'm not high on him. No.
I don't think he starts. I think he's a good number 2 right now.
Okay. Good number 2. I still don't want to see him as my quarterback at all. I don't want to see him at all, honestly.
I mean, honestly,
I just don't like him.
who's the Cowboys' backup quarterback right now?
Right now, it's Kellen Moore. Is it? Yeah.
Okay, would you rather see him or Sam Bradford as your number 2?
Yeah, Sam Bradford, I guess.
Dak Prescott goes down, and you need a quarterback, and
Well, the Cowboys need a quarterback, also backup. It's time for a backup.
But that's
They
what I'm
might draft
saying.
one this year.
Why wouldn't you pay a guy like Sam Bradford a couple $1 million a year to? And
Fine, because it would remind me of like when they had like all those horrible like Matt Castle, and I know that was horrible. Matt Castle. Remember we had Matt Castle a few years ago, played for like 10 games.
remember when the
Brandon Whedon. It would remind me like that because he's in that level for me. Honestly, I don't like Bradford.
Remember when Matt Castle was the biggest quarterback because he had a good season with the Patriots and everybody wanted him.
And the Chiefs.
Yeah, he played
made
really
the playoffs
good.
1 year?
Yeah, he played really good for 1 year with the Chiefs and then just.
But do you remember him on the
man.
Cowboys?
Oh my
remember
god!
It was
yeah.
awful. It was
well, I
awful.
was about to say he went downhill.
I mean,
really
yes,
fast.
Bradford was the number 1 overall draft pick. We know that.
Yeah,
But he hasn't. Listen, he hasn't. He's been hurt a lot.
Bradford was better than Matt Castle.
The thing I remember Bradford the most is just his shoulder pads. How he just looks like watching him in his
Like a
shoulder pads.
linebacker, yeah.
like a linebacker. He looks like
Yeah.
a child in his
He does.
uniform.
He does. It looks like Ryan Reynolds trying to play.
But that's what it
football.
reminded me of. I don't want to. No, the Cowboys aren't going after Bradford.
I'm not saying they're going
don't
after
wanna
him,
touch
but
Bradford.
at this point, I mean, I think that Bradford can get paid really well to be a number 2
the
somewhere.
guy is made of glass. He gets hit hard. He's going to be out.
I'm not denying it. That's why he's worth the money as an investment as a backup.
I don't know. You're not going to convince me.
I mean, those are the 3 guys on the Vikings. I mean, Case Keenum's going to go somewhere else. He's going to get paid.
Would you want him on the Jets, Bradford?
Not as my starter, no.
Okay.
As a backup, sure.
Yeah.
I'd rather Sam Bradford than Bryce Petty. I'd rather Sam Bradford than Christian Hackenberg.
Yeah. Fine. Yeah. Fine. But that's not saying much. That's not saying anything really.
How about this one? The Cowboys need a backup quarterback. There's another quarterback that's on the free agent market that is that might be a viable backup for them. How about Geno Smith?
Yeah, I wouldn't mind. I don't despise Geno Smith like a lot of people do. I don't.
I think
he's competent. I really do.
Yeah.
I don't think he's god awful. I really don't believe that. He went. Listen, remember he went 8-8 with the Jets 1 year.
Yeah, absolutely
he did.
He
And
saved
wasn't
Rex
awful.
Ryan's job.
He wasn't awful.
He won 5 games in a
Yes,
row.
we're gonna remember him for getting punched in the face, and that's what we'll remember him for. But
And Rex Ryan.
I'd be
putting that
fine with
guy-
Geno Smith. Honestly, I'm I'd rather Geno Smith than Sam Bradford. That's just me. That's just me.
Fair enough. He may be the first person
I am not
ever to say that.
Yeah, that's fine. But I am not. Listen, they shouldn't have drafted him where they did, the Jets. Fine, but yeah, I like Geno Smith. I would be okay with him as a backup.
I think he's a competent backup.
Competent, right? He's a competent backup.
Yep.
He wouldn't lead a team to the Super Bowl like Nick Foles, but he's competent enough. He's not god awful. He's not like the Nathan Peterman. He's not that guy.
Oh man.
So
yeah, I think he goes somewhere and he gets a pretty decent amount of money. I mean, Mark Sanchez is the number 3 quarterback for the Chicago Bears. If he still has a job, Geno Smith will get paid.
I think we said Sam Bradford too many times on the show already. I think we got to get off this topic. Get off Sam Bradford.
Yeah, I'm with. I agree.
fine.
I agree.
No.
But I mean, so there's another. All right. So let's face it. If you're the Cardinals, the Broncos, and the Jets have a very top pick, missing a team who's really quarterback needy right now. The Cardinals, the Broncos, the Jets, and I guess those 3. If you're one of those 2, at least the Cardinals and the Broncos.
Well, the Bills.
The Bills, maybe the Giants,
Dolphins.
the Dolphins,
maybe the Giants. Yeah.
Are you trading up? Are you trying to get one of these studs in the draft?
Well, I heard that the Bills want to trade up for the Giants, get that number 2 pick.
And if you're the Giants,
they're
you
hiring
take
like
that?
Josh Rosen. I would trade the 2 if I can get a lot. If I can get their pick, their whatever, get a few slots later, and then the second rounder, they would get a lot for that pick. They would get a lot for that pick if they're not high on one of these quarterbacks, the Giants, because we think that. Listen, if I were the Browns, first of all, I'd draft Barkley number 1. They better draft Barkley number 1. I'm telling you, if they miss out on him, if they draft one of these quarterbacks, they can get a quarterback at 6. Okay, they have to draft Barkley. I'm telling you, this guy is unbelievable.
Well, there was
Zeke. He's at that Zeke level. He's gonna at Fournette level. He's gonna change a franchise. I'm telling you.
Remember that year that Reggie Bush was everybody thought he was going number one.
Yeah.
And Mario Williams wound up going number one, and then Bush got drafted by the Saints at number two.
Right.
Reggie Bush was that guy. He was
he was I think at a higher level. He played at USC also.
Exactly. He was that
but
guy.
He wasn't great for where he was picked, but he had a good career.
Reggie Bush had
very
a
good
great
career.
career.
Great career. He won a Super Bowl too.
I love Reggie Bush.
Me too.
I'm a huge Reggie
People
Bush
think
fan.
he was but Saquon Barkley, the Browns need the best player available.
And that's who it is. And if you're the Cleveland Browns, you can get a quarterback in the first round of this draft.
And you still have DeShone Kizer. Fine, I'm not high on him, but you still have him.
But you know what? Why don't you give him another shot?
I'm angry because you know what? I think the Browns are not going to pick Barkley. Has to go number one. You know what? I'm really upset. They better pick him because I know the Giants better not pick Barkley. I would be so mad if they get Barkley. I do not want to see that. I'm telling you, this guy is going to be at Zeke level. I'm telling you.
Not twice a year for you guys.
I'm telling you, man, this guy is going to be at that level.
I agree. I'm not denying it at all. And my whole thing now is if Saquon Barkley, let's just say he goes number one. Let's just say for instance he goes number one. The Browns get him, and then the Browns come back. They get a quarterback. Are we starting to look that in 2 or 3 years the Browns are actually a team that can actually make a little bit of a run?
Yes, I believe it. Absolutely, they can.
Josh Gordon's 35.
This is the year for the Browns. This is it.
Here's another thing.
It's
not for nothing. The Browns can drop half of their team right now. They can draft Saquon Barkley. They can draft a quarterback. They can actually screw that. Think about this. They can draft Barkley. They can go surprise everybody, draft the top wide receiver on the board at that point at their pick. They'd have him and Josh Gordon as their 1 and 2 and go out and throw some money at a guy like Kirk Cousins or one of the guys that comes out of Minnesota or Nick Foles. And they can actually make a decent run at being a decent team.
We haven't talked about Kirk Cousins to the Browns either, which is
why?
possible.
Or
AJ McCarron there. AJ
McCarron is
another
one.
I like him. He hasn't. I like AJ McCarron. I've always liked him since college. He's a winner. He's won in college in Alabama. I like AJ McCarron. But yeah, they have to listen. They need that breakout guy. They need that. They need him.
And if you do, you have to think that right now, if they're planning. They have.
They have 2 running backs. No, I don't know.
They do.
They have Crowell and Duke Johnson.
Yeah, and they're both. Are
they free agents?
Duke Johnson. No, I think they're both on the team.
That's why.
Problem. But you know what?
It doesn't matter.
No. Here's the smart thing.
Trade
one of them to some other team right now.
Yeah.
I mean, and it's unfortunate that most of the teams right now
trade for a draft pick.
Yeah, you could do that because I was
4th round pick.
Most of the I would I'm thinking about using them to sweeten a deal right now for a quarterback. AJ McCarron's a free agent, right? The Bengals screwed him over, and now he's a free agent.
Something to set him in the court. Yeah.
Yeah. So all right, whatever.
There's a guy, AJ McCarron. He's gonna be signed by someone. The Browns are high, and I know Hugh Jackson loves AJ McCarron.
And there you
go.
Heard
about that.
So think about this: the Browns can trade one of their running backs, maybe Crowell. I think Crowell may be the weakest out of the bunch.
Okay.
They have Duke Johnson and they have Saquon Barkley next year as their starting running backs. They get AJ McCarron. They have Josh Gordon as their number 1 wide receiver.
Who are they picking though at 6? Are they going to trade that pick? No.
I would. Why wouldn't you at this point? You don't need if they get AJ McCarron, you don't need a quarterback.
But they're going to trade.
Why wouldn't you trade that number 6 pick
with who?
Whoever wants him. Whoever wants him. Maybe the Giants want to well, not the Giants. Maybe the Browns. Not the Browns. The Bills. Maybe the Bills want that. Maybe the Dolphins want it. Maybe some other team. I would trade him for a team that's quarterback needy. Get myself AJ McCarron. And get a couple of draft picks. Get a couple of stud wide receivers in the 2nd round.
Yeah, and they also have Corey Coleman.
Exactly. They have Corey Coleman. They have Josh Gordon. And who's their I can't think of the guy, the tight end's name.
Njoku?
Yes, he was
David Njoku. Yeah,
the guy's been making
good.
He's been making excellent catches all year. Why wouldn't you go with any of those guys? You have a decent team there. AJ McCarron plays well. You have good running back. Then all you have to do is if those guys that you get out of maybe you get a couple of wide receivers. Maybe you get some guys to bolster their offensive line. They're definitely going to win more than 1 game.
Yes, they're not going winless next year. They better pick Saquon Barkley.
Absolutely. And I think they can get rid of one of their running backs. And there's a lot of teams right now that want a number 2 running back.
Yeah, this is going to be a crazy draft. I'm excited for this one. There's a lot of quarterbacks out there. Where they're going to go. This is going to be a good draft.
We have 3 top-flight quarterbacks. We have one of the best running backs.
What are the Giants going to do? I don't know what they're going to do with that
honest
pick.
to God, I think the Giants are going to be stupid. They're going to trade that pick. I mean, maybe not stupid because they do need a lot of help, but I think they're going to trade that pick.
The Browns better not make that mistake. They shouldn't draft one of these top 2 quarterbacks. I don't.
No, they
it's
should
gonna be a
grab.
mistake.
I'm telling you, in order to prevent drafting one of them, they should trade that number 6 pick.
Well, if the Jets, where are the Jets drafting again? What's their?
So the Jets have 6.
Jets have 6. Where the Browns have?
The Browns have 5.
Browns have 1 and 5.
They're 1 and 5, right?
1 and 5. Okay,
I'm pretty sure.
Check that up.
Am I right? Does that sound right?
I thought it was like 1 and 6. Maybe I'm wrong. If the Jets have 6, I thought the Jets have like 8 or something.
Maybe the Jets have 5 and they have 6.
Okay, but oh man, it's gonna be wild. It's gonna be wild. But if the Jets can, if what's his name?
Okay, here we go. Browns 1, Giants 2, Colts 3, Browns 4.
Browns 4. They have 1 and 4. Ooh, that's a tough pick.
I would trade that. I would
pick.
trade that 4th round pick.
They can get a lot for that pick. They can get a lot for that pick. A lot of teams would love that pick.
Denver 5, Jets 6. That's another thing we're talking about. Denver wants a quarterback.
What if the Browns trade the 4? They give the Giants they trade with the Giants. They get 1 and 2. The Browns. They give them a 4. They give them. What about that? About the Browns taking the first 2 picks. Is that possible? No.
Why would you do that?
I know. Why would you do that? No.
I mean, it worked for the Bears a little bit.
So the Colts 3. You say Browns 4. Who's 5?
The Broncos.
Broncos 5. Broncos have a 5 pick,
which is a huge deal. If they don't get Kirk Cousins, they probably aren't going to be too pissed off.
There's so many quarterbacks. There's 3. We know Sam Darnold, Josh Rosen, and Josh Allen. These are the top 3 guys. And they say Josh Allen might be the best out of the bunch. And I know the Jets are high on him. He's a big, strong quarterback.
Yeah.
But Sam Darnold, they have bust potential, these guys. Rosen, because Rosen, they say, listen, I haven't watched a lot of college football, but he played in the weakest conference in terms of defense. He lit them up every week. It was the worst defensive conference. And once he plays against NFL defenses,
there's been a lot of comparisons for that I've been hearing to Rosen to a guy you don't want to really be compared to, Tim Tebow. A guy who was a standout, a guy who stood out well in college, but may not be able to make it in the.
That's not
just the idea of might not being able to make it in the big time.
No, I don't like that comparison. That's not a good comparison.
Tebow didn't play in the strongest division.
They say he's the smartest out of the bunch. Smart quarterback. He read defenses.
That's fine. You want to know who was a really smart quarterback? Greg McElroy. Greg McElroy was an incribly smart quarterback.
Yeah, but no, we're talking about like
the guy
graduated
like
but
Ryan Fitzpatrick graduated from Harvard.
But I'm talking about
I understand what you're saying. You're talking about quarterback acumen.
They can tie his shoe. They can't. They're not even the same boat. Talking about arm talent. Talking about talent alone.
I'm not denying it. I'm not denying what you're saying.
Well, I'll tell you this: the Colts are drafting. Colts are going. I hear with this defensive lineman, this best defensive lineman in the draft. Fine.
Good. Smart for them because they have 2 competent quarterbacks.
Right, but we don't know about Luck. Fine, he should be back.
Yeah, if Luck doesn't come back, they have Brissett.
Yeah, that's a good. Talk about a good backup. Brissett.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
I don't think Jacoby Brissett played bad last year. They had a terrible offensive line. They played terrible defense.
He was good.
Yeah,
fine. Man, it's just tough. They should trade that 4 pick. Yeah, that makes sense.
Oh my God,
they can get a lot for that pick.
That 4th pick.
They can get a lot for that pick.
I am trading that in a heartbeat.
But it's just gonna be crazy. That 2 pick, the Giants. Who knows what the Giants are gonna do? I would trade that pick too.
I would too.
But Barkley, if
they want to bring Eli Manning back,
they need offensive line help. They need offensive line help,
and that's what I'm saying. Trade that number 2 pick, get like a whole bunch of 2s and 3s, and just go nuts on offensive line talent.
Right.
But they also need and you know what? That's a great idea.
But there's not a lot in the draft.
They won't spend a lot of money.
Right.
And then they can go out and sign some of these guys that they need to sign because Beckham isn't going to be able to do it by himself. They have to give him some money this year.
Right.
Who knows what Brandon Marshall's going to do if they're going to want to re-sign him?
Sterling Shepard.
Yeah, exactly. And they don't have a running back. If I'm the Giants right now, I am praying that Saquon Barkley falls.
That's why I hope he doesn't go to the Giants because you know what? I don't want to see that guy. We have Zeke Elliott.
Well,
he's awesome.
Here's the thing. I've been hearing a lot of stuff saying that the Browns are not drafting a quarterback overall number 1. That
Barkley might be the pick.
That they're saying that they've done it so many times.
The smartest pick for them would be to draft Barkley.
Absolutely,
it would be the smartest pick.
Absolutely,
and they have to be smart once in a while. It's time for them to be smart. They drafted Myles Garrett, who looks like he's a good player.
Absolutely.
So and he was the best player. He was the best player in the draft. That's what they said. So they drafted him.
And he did, and they did the right thing. And he looks like he's going to work
smart.
out.
Just take the safest pick.
Just no more Johnny Manziels. No more Brandon Weedens.
And they can get a quarterback in the draft later on.
They can.
Yeah.
But they don't need him. They don't need him.
Right.
They can get A.J. McCarron for a steal.
But you know what? They also need that franchise quarterback.
And they can get Kaiser. But they can do that when they're all right. Here's the thing. If I am any quarterback in this draft, if I'm one of those, if I'm Rosen, if I'm Darnold, if I'm Josh Allen, if I'm one of those three, the last thing I want to do is hear my name called as the number 1 overall pick for the Cleveland Browns.
We heard Rosen say that he doesn't want to play for them.
And that's what I'm saying. But next year, that might change. Because think about this. If you have a competent running back, competent wide receivers, your offensive line is looking pretty well, I would be, maybe they go like 6 and.
But
10.
you know what the problem is? They're still the Browns. They're still in Cleveland. No offense to Cleveland, but let's be honest. LeBron James, a guy like LeBron James, might not be there next year. He might be gone after this year. So
if LeBron leaves Cleveland again,
I mean, he might. It's very likely he will go.
They're going to set that city on fire.
Right. Well, but you know what? They're expecting it. He at this point he got them their championship, fine. But or tradition of basketball. But yeah, he might be gone. They're not gonna. He's done what he did for that city, and he's gone. That city just like.
Let me tell you something. If LeBron James leaves Cleveland, this is where his comparisons of being the number 1 overall basketball player to Michael Jordan start going down the tubes. Because Jordan stayed with the Bulls, and they built the team around him.
You know what?
And look what he did. He got half of that team. They traded half of their team away.
I'm not who the Cavs.
Yeah,
just recently.
Yeah,
but they got better. Look,
they did get better,
but they got younger and better. And look what LeBron does. You could put anybody with LeBron. They're gonna be good.
But that's what I'm saying.
Right.
If you know that was a lot of LeBron's influence to get all those players there. If LeBron leaves next year after doing all that, I mean, are you like if I'm Cleveland, I'm gonna be like, you know what, screw you. You are the you were like.
But you know what? Also, they set him up. Even if he leaves, they set him up for the future. They have good young talent. That also he could have not done anything and just left, and they'd be in big trouble. And also, he doesn't get along with the owner. They do not get along.
Yeah, well, you know what? Sometimes you got to put the you
know what? LeBron's done enough. Listen, he's won for that city. I understand. You can't take away. We're not doing this comparison with Jordan thing, but we already know LeBron's one of the greatest. But this is the NBA now. These stars just go wherever they want. They have the power. They can do whatever they want.
It's. I mean, he's going to be top 5. I just don't think. I just think that my whole thing is that all right. When Jordan came back, when he came back and he played for the Wizards, I was pissed.
Yeah,
I was.
That was fun.
It was fun to see him back.
He was still awesome at 40.
He still was.
Got to see him play.
It was fun to see him back. It was fun to see him on the court again. It just wasn't. He wasn't Michael Jordan though. He was. Michael Jordan at maybe a little bit less, a little bit more than half speed.
But you know what?
And he was still better than half the guys on the court. But I just.
But let me tell you something about LeBron. You say he's getting older. He's still by far the best player in the NBA. He still dominates the NBA.
I'm not going to deny.
Even more of a level that Tom Brady does at his age. He is. He doesn't even look like he's near done. He is still the best player in the NBA by far. Jordan at that age, he was not. He couldn't be. LeBron could play until he's 40 and still be the best player in the NBA.
He might be.
The way he takes care of his body.
And he also plays a lot less minutes than Jordan did, though.
LeBron plays a lot of minutes.
He does. This year he's been playing a lot of minutes.
LeBron
he's been playing a lot of minutes.
Unbelievable. You watch him in the All-Star game yesterday. I mean, yeah, it's an All-Star game, but still. He's still unbelievable to watch. Man, we got off and we're talking about Cleveland, talking about LeBron. I mean, there's nothing more. I mean, Cleveland, when you talk about Cleveland, you talk about LeBron James. Because that's all there is to talk about.
Exactly.
But the Browns, back to the Browns, yeah. Still Cleveland. But it should be, they have to just be smart. Just be smart, Cleveland. Be smart, Browns.
Draft Saquon Barkley.
Draft Barkley.
Do it.
I hope they do.
Because if you don't,
I hope
their franchise depends on it.
Their franchise depends on it.
It really does.
I don't want the Giants drafting Barkley either.
And if I'm the Jets,
it helps Eli Manning if they draft Barkley. I don't want to see that. I want to see Eli.
Yeah,
it
does.
2 more years.
It does. All right, so can I ask? One more question. I know we're almost out of time, but one more question.
Yeah,
Jacksonville. What do you do? What do you do if you're the Jaguars right now? Do you stick with Bortles for another year?
No.
So then, why aren't they?
He's the reason they lost that game.
Why isn't?
And we knew. Here's the reason they lost that championship game.
Why isn't their name being brought up a little bit more to go out to get Kirk Cousins?
Well, maybe it should be.
Why aren't they? I mean, okay. Here's another one.
Or Case Keenum.
Exactly, Blake Bortles or any of the 2 quarterbacks from Minnesota.
Yeah, they should be brought up. Because they are a quarterback away, a competent quarterback away.
Absolutely.
They would have won that. They would have won that game. They were up.
They would have beat Tom Brady.
Not for Blake Bortles.
They would have beat Tom
Stupid
Brady.
play calling, first of all. But it was a horrible quarterback play because we know he's awful.
And some questionable calls from the refs. But
Right. But yeah, Blake. Yeah, that's true. They're a sleeper team also.
Absolutely.
Maybe they'll draft a quarterback. Who knows? Maybe they'll jump in there.
Could you see them trading up?
Oh my gosh, you imagine that? Getting one of the top quarterbacks? I don't know.
Imagine them trading with the Browns for four. For four?
And stick with Bortles and keep this guy on the bench if he's ready to go.
Or they just
throw him in there.
Or they just throw this guy in there.
Right.
Sink or swim, let's go.
Baker Mayfield?
Maybe. Could be.
Maybe. He's that. I mean, yeah, they compare him to Johnny Manziel. We don't like to hear that comparison, but Baker Mayfield is an exciting guy. You'd like what Johnny Manziel was.
Well, he fell deep.
Yeah.
I mean, that could be that he could, but he could be a guy who cleans up and could be a steal for somebody.
I agree. Absolutely.
And
I'm excited to see how he can play.
And where's he being projected?
Arizona, they say, is a possibility.
He's being projected to be picked still in the first round, though, right?
Yes.
But just late in the first round.
There's going to be maybe five quarterbacks in the first round.
That's a huge deal.
Yeah. Mason Rudolph also is a sleeper.
Yep, that's another one.
It's another guy. So 6.
So
maybe 6 quarterbacks.
We can see all these quarterback-needy teams actually drafting a quarterback and getting who they need.
It's going to be exciting,
At least
Albert.
somebody for the future.
It's going to be exciting.
It's going to be an exciting draft. Well, maybe we'll stick with this a little bit more next week, and we'll start talking about some of these teams and what their draft needs are.
Yeah. Can we just have a whole show about Sam Bradford?
Yes.
I'm going to do a lot of research on him. I'll have a Sam Bradford show.
All right, guys. Join us next week for the Avi digs into Sam Bradford's life show.
Yeah. No.
All right, well, we're a little bit over, so thank you guys for listening to us. We appreciate you guys. We appreciate your calls. We appreciate you listening. We appreciate you guys who don't listen to us live and listen to us on YouTube afterwards. We appreciate all of you. For the Opening Whistle radio show, I am Albert Albanese.
And I am Avi Schiffman.
And we will see you guys next week.
Thanks for listening to the Opening Whistle Radio Show on MetsonRadio.com. For more information, go to Facebook.com/The Slam Sessions Podcast Network. We'll see you next week.